Santi has done a great job so far. He's been here for almost a year. He's developed very well as our point of attack at the moment. We have 3 more games to go where it's hugely important to get 1 win out of the upcoming 3 games. We hope to get it on Sunday. Santiago, I think, has adapted very well. He's an important player for us. He is not for sale. We're not interested in listening to any offers or discussing any possible sale this summer. But apart from that, we always work as closely with the family and everybody around him to make him feel comfortable. And definitely there is no interest from our side to put him into the market or do anything. I think also in his own best interest, this is still not the moment. I think there's still room for further development. I think there's still room for further adaptation to the league and to Europe. So we also think that apart from our own interests, that obviously we like to keep him here and we want to keep him here. I think in his best interest, it's also very good to be a little bit patient and to further develop and to become the great striker that everybody thinks he can be or already is becoming.
Santi Giménez, not for sale, according to Feyenord. Herc, what do you think? Something, nothing, or everything?
Everything. Can I start off with how... So if you don't know, Denis Kloese, his wife is Mexican, so he's got obviously very in touch with the Mexican culture. And I've seen this interview in 2 different languages. In Spanish, Leon de Canda did it in Spanish, 30-minute interview, and now this response in English. And they both are very different to the same question. In Spanish, a lo mexicano, he comes out and he says his own opinion would be for Santi Giménez to stay another year. He's got to get better and develop a few things. He's being carefully guided by his family, by his camp, by Feyenord. There's a project for him, et cetera, et cetera. In his belief, he should stay. In English, maybe it's because his Dutchness comes out. He's more blunt and he's just like, no, not for sale. That's not what we're doing. He's not going anywhere. And it's a complete 180 of the feeling I got from Spanish, but it's very clear. They see a vision for Santiago Giménez. He's the CEO of Feyenord, so he's got valuable input here. What I will say is, it doesn't matter what Denis Kloese says. I know he's the CEO, but if there's a right offer on the table today at the end of this season for Santiago Giménez, and it exceeds their expectations, good business is good business. And if Santiago Giménez and his camp feel that the offer is good as well, and Feyenord says, you know what, it works for us, he gone. And football is the momentos. Like soccer, football is about the moments. And right now is his moments. Anything can happen. Do you recall the 18 to 20 months when Raúl Jiménez was absolutely killing it for Wolverhampton? 18, 20 months he's never had before in his career. Kind of like Santi Giménez today. He had an unfortunate incident with David Luiz, a clash of heads that changed his life forever. And now instead of being on the tip of the Tottenhams of the world, now instead of being the tips of some of the best club setups in the world and leagues in the world, he's out of commission and he's not gotten back to where he was. Those opportunities are gone. Football is like that. So if you have an opportunity in that moment and the opportunity meet and it's good business for Feyenord, I don't care what Denis Kloese says, this can go 180 again.
When he says not for sale so bluntly, it does feel like everything, right? At least for this summer. But I actually feel like it's a little bit more towards nothing. I'm not sure if you'll disagree with me here, Herc, but when I hear a sporting director come out and say, not for sale, I don't hear not for sale. I hear, don't come with any weak offers, right? I hear a little bit of posturing there, right? Exactly. Bring the money, and then we'll have a real conversation whether you're going to get Santiago Giménez or not. The other thing about not having offers, that could just be down to timing, right? We're not in the window where you would be getting offers. That to me is more an issue of semantics. So I'm not worried about this being like, oh, Santiago Giménez is not going to leave this summer. But I know you, Herc, based on our previous conversations on this show, must at least disagree with Denis Kloese when he says this guy needs more seasoning in the Eredivisie. I personally don't mind if he stays another year, but you have been very, very clear. You think he needs to leave now.
Yeah, because I know the easy response from a lot of doubters of that is going to be like, he's got Champions League with Feyenord next season, so he's going to be playing Champions League. All right, he's going to be guaranteed the group stage. But go through some of the list of the teams in the Champions League. It's not all Juventus. It's not all PSG. It's not all Real Madrid or Man Cities. It's not all Leipzig. You're going to have your Maccabis in there. You're going to have your Rangers. You're going to have your Celtic. You're going to have Shakhtar Donetsk. You're going to have all these different types of teams, Bruges, if you will, that, okay, great, Champions League, but if you're playing in the Bundesliga or playing the Premier League, like instead of a 3-game window against some of these teams where you may get tested and maybe a great platform, you could have 38 weeks of actually being tested in an amazing platform, in a setup where you're playing other competitions as well. I just think opportunities like this don't come around very often. And what's he going to show you if he has another 15-goal season in the Eredivisie? What's he going to show you? I mean, what's that going to prove? I say this with all due respect to the Eredivisie. There have been goal scorers who scored lots of goals in the Eredivisie, and it doesn't translate elsewhere. I think he needs to test himself.